Okay, so this is my second sketchbook for the self-initiated project. So this is carrying on from the last sketchbook, which we ended with Run Like Hell. So this is the final artwork for that. Okay, and then we have the artwork for Waiting for the Worms. Which was like my alternate artwork that I felt like fitted better with that song maybe, and I still wanted to use it because I still liked both of the designs, but just one fitted for, with the hammer, it fitted for Run Like Hell a bit better, but I just wanted to use both of the designs. So, and then we've got Goodbye Cruel World. So I think that's all just the lyrics. And Waters leaves the world behind, fully secluding himself behind a wall. A doorway to leave the cruel world behind. So the world does reference like a doorway. There must have been a door somewhere where we came in. So I really like the idea of you know, there's a door maybe that he's leaving the world behind. So this way you've got the sort of stairway, and this with the door. And oops, sorry. And here we've got the references. So that's just the artist's name. So those are the references. Oops. And I had a look at Renee Magritte's, who does a lot of these sort of surreal doorway images that I found quite interesting. I thought that was quite relevant. So while looking for references, I encountered Marguerite's series on doorways, the paintings which show a doorway against the sky and convey the concept of leaving the earth/world behind. I also like the surrealism in those paintings, which give an almost dream-like feeling. So as you can see, there's some of the paintings that I looked at I felt quite inspired by, so quite interesting. And this is the final design. As you see, I did in like Procreate. There's also like, I did sort of shading, so fading out, so you've got these sort of lighter tones and the greens, so it's not all just one solid colour. I thought that looked a bit better. So yeah. And next we have The Show Must Go On. So must the show go on? Waters is playing against his will, controlled and puppeteered by managers. To illustrate this, I drew Waters as a puppet on strings, playing against his will. That was like an alternate design with like, I was thinking sort of like a puppet show, where they've got the little stage, and also like a puppet with the strings. And here we have the references for that. As you can see, so I looked at the hand puppets on the strings, how puppets would be controlled. There's the picture I used for reference. I just wanted a picture of Roger Waters, like roughly around the age he would have been when he was doing The Wall. So that's a photo of him just playing guitar. And obviously the puppet theatre. You can see all those. And then this is the final artwork. And the next one is Stop. want to go home, take off this uniform and leave the show, but I'm waiting in this cell because I have to know, have I been guilty all this time? In the film adaptation, this song is preceded by a shattering scream as Waters snaps out of his delusions and is forced to face his own actions. And also in the film adaptation, we see him like in a cell, so I looked at sort of the idea of being behind bars, and focus on sort of the scream as well, because I felt like that was a really poignant part of the album, where you hear the scream and it's like snapping out of it. So I had a look at like a lot of just like mouths, like screaming mouths. So these are different artists. And like behind bars, like prison bars for reference there. And then we've got here the final version. So I went with the mouth, with also like the prison bars. And next we've got Nobody's Home. So the phrase nobody's home typically refers to a person suffering from mental illness, someone who is distant from the world, unresponsive, and is in a world of their own. So it's kind of like the phrase like the lights are on but nobody's home, so that's why I looked at these sort of light bulbs. Like maybe like a little home inside of a light bulb, or like a skull as a light bulb, sort of, you know, nobody's home, sort of vacant. In the film adaptation, Waters is shown in his hotel room, sitting in a chair with the TV on, staring vacantly at it. The song lists off a variety of objects and possessions nonchalantly, as they have lost all meaning to Waters. So this is kind of based on like the hotel room scene, where he sort of sat there vacantly, just staring at a TV. And here are my reference images. So just some different artworks I looked at. Some of these are just sort of usernames and like sort of online, like what the artist goes by online. So that's why it's a little bit strange, maybe. But yeah, these are just the references. So vintage TV and light bulbs and the little phone. And this is the final version. Okay, and then the final song, Outside the Wall. So during the trial, Waters says the line, "There must have been a door there in the wall when we came in." The final line of Outside the Wall is "We came in," and the first line of the first song, In the Flesh, is "Isn't this where?" Playing the phrase "Isn't this where we came in" when you play the album on a loop. The door allows Waters to leave the wall, though it also allows him to initially enter it. So these were just ideas for him leaving the wall. And these are some references. So I kind of went back to the door idea because I didn't end up using that necessarily for the Cruel World. I ended up going with the kind of hallway, like the doorway, like the stairwell, I mean. So I kind of went back to that idea because I did still quite like it, and maybe it just works a little bit better with the context of this song. So this is just references, the final scene, Renee Marguerite again, My Christie, John Holmes, and yeah, just looking at like doors. And then we have the final version of that. So I did that in like Procreate, so you've got the kind of light shading as well, like breaking off, and just I wanted this like a really like bright light, like it's the first time like he's leaving the wall. And I looked at typography. So I did have a look at the typography that was used on the album. And I kind of wanted to do like something sort of similar to that, draw up my own sort of ink-based typography. So like ink blots, like scrawled splotches of ink. I just really like these sort of typographies that they're quite, they're not perfect, they're sort of quite organic, and you can really experiment with the ink and just sometimes let it do its own thing and get really interesting results. So these are like just experimenting as well with like what kind of typography. Would it have the full name? Would it just have what's 2020? Which positions would it be in? And then I looked at using my designs and my typographies to make these t-shirt mock-ups. So I'll just show those like close up. So these are just a few designs that I picked out, some of the strongest ones I felt for like the t-shirts, but just to show as well like how my designs could be applied, experimenting with different like positions of typography, and yeah. So using my font, I experimented with different placement and colouring and incorporated a variety of my illustrations to show how they could be utilised in merchandising. And yeah, here I had prints made. I had this done via a company called Street Shirts. Chose two designs that I felt had variety from each other in terms of typography placement, and were designs that I felt translated well to t-shirts. Both shirts also have typography on the back. So that would be the back on both shirts. And then the front. So these are the two that I had done. So one of them, as you can see, has the typography behind, and the other one's got typography at the bottom. Because I quite liked both, so I wanted to show the variety of like how different shirts, you know, and you could get different looks from it. And next I did, I made a painted jacket, and I thought this could be like a sort of limited edition item as promotion for the show. So maybe there would be like so many made, and this is just hand painted using tulip paints. So as you can see there from my photos, hopefully. And there is like the sides. So yeah, I created this hand painted jacket using the designs I drew in Procreate and Photoshop, with the idea that it could be a limited edition piece of promotional merchandise. I chose the designs that I felt were among the strongest and also would work on the spaces. These include In the Flesh, Young Lust, Is There Anybody Out There, Don't Leave Me Now, and Happiest Days of Our Lives. So yeah, it's a fully painted jacket. The front's painted, the back, and also the sides. And next I looked at tickets. Different concert tickets with like artwork on them. I just felt like this was an important part of promotion, because I know a lot of people, I myself, like I collect sort of, like I'll keep the concert ticket and I like to put them on my wall, just like as a little sort of keepsake. And as well, this allowed me to look at like where, you know, where the information would go and what kind of information would need to be included. So this is the template that I used when creating my own design. So just the name, the concert name, like where it's going to be at, the date, and this bit here would be like the barcode. That would be the bit that they like rip off, and this would be the part that you keep. So that would be the part maybe where you could put artwork. And yeah, these were my, that was my initial mock-up at the top right there. And that was the one I made adjustments to, just following feedback with Maria, just to add my own typography. So using a template I found online to base my ticket layout, I created this Photoshop mock-up of a ticket design utilizing my illustration. I also created a background using Procreate lighting effect brushes, inspired by the light shows Pink Floyd were known for. Following feedback, I rotated the background to have bricks be horizontal and incorporated my own typography. So as you can see there, I changed the position of the bricks, just following feedback that would kind of look better. It kind of makes more sense cohesively, you know, because the artwork is like landscape, so the background should be the same way. And then I made, these are just a couple that I made. So I did different variations of the background and the color schemes, which would work better with like different illustrations. So this one would be like the red and yellow to match the illustrations. And yeah, I just picked as well like a random, just for an example, like one of the shows, like, so this is the show they did that would have been Friday 10th of July 2020 at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. Just as an example, you know. And that's another one with the pink. So the ink smudged a little bit on these prints. As you can see, it's like a very reflective print, so I think the ink might have rubbed off a little bit. So if it looks a little bit smudged at the top, I apologize. Following my initial mock-up, I designed 5 more as an example of different designs and colour schemes that could be applied effectively. People often keep tickets as keepsakes, so by releasing a variety of designs, this could motivate ticket sales. And embroidered patch mock-ups. I created mock-up patches in Procreate by redrawing my designs in a sewn style to imitate embroidery, drawing in tight zigzag lines. I put a denim fabric image underneath and lowered the opacity of my lines to allow the fabric to show through for more realistic effect. So originally I think there were facilities on campus that would have allowed me to actually make mock-up patches, but obviously I didn't have access to those, so I've just made my own sort of mock-ups. If you can see there, the lines are actually like individually drawn, so it's like a stitch. Yeah, I would have made a physical version if I had the ability to. Concert posters / promotional flyers for reference. So this is just looking at like posters, like promotional posters. So promotional posters typically include information on the event, such as ticket price, venue, times, show start, doors opening, and this is the ones I looked at. So textured wood panel background, bright colored typography, illustration is its main focus, limited color scheme, 70s psychedelic style, limited 2 colors, black and peach, variety of typography, simple line work illustrations. And here's some more. So I really like the glowing effects on the illustration and typography, reminiscent of light up signs, eye-catching. Band name is Focal Point, limited neon color scheme, looks to be drawn in oil pastels, maybe chalk. Color background with black and white typography and illustration, simple yet effective. So these were just for research. And here we have the promotional poster backgrounds. I created a series of backgrounds for my promotional posters inspired by Pink Floyd's famous laser light shows. I also took inspiration from the Cortinas poster I found while looking for references. So I use these for the tickets and also for the promotional posters. These backgrounds. Okay, so here we have, these are the promotional posters that I made. So just a variety. So this is the In the Flesh. So this is just showing like a variety of colours, playing around with the typography. Roger Waters promotional poster. So this is Goodbye Cruel World. And the trial. Oh, 1 second. And finally, I looked at. So this is for my for my animations. So I did a series of animated GIFs. I did 6 animated GIFs, which will be on my website. So this is research on Rebecca Mock. And this is research on Joe Macaroni. So these are both animators that I looked at that do like animated art GIFs. And here is a storyboard of Joe Macaroni's that I found on his website that shows like his work in progress. And these are the GIFs that I made. So the show must go on GIF, so the fingers moving and motion blur. I've added some pictures, but it might be a little bit hard to tell. Obviously I can't show the GIF properly in my sketchbook because this one was very subtle movements. You know, some of them I made more simplistic because I sort of had to teach myself how to make these. It takes a lot of time, but it's worth it. I created a series of animated GIFs from my artwork using the framework in Procreate. For this short and simple animation, I redrew the fingers in slightly different positions for each frame and added a motion blur effect for a further sense of movement. And here is just pictures just to show my animations. So obviously there you've got the camera, another brick in the wall, animation, camera, so it flashes the light, and then the picture prints out, and in the flesh the teardrop moves down the face. And another brick in the wall, part 3. So the bricks fall out of the bottle and into a pile on the floor. Nobody's home. The light bulb flashes. It goes from off to on, and then like more like it goes brighter, so it's got the glow. And finally, I have an animation for In the Flesh, which is as you can see, like the lights flash different colors. They go off, then they turn a different color, and it does that in like a cycle. And all these GIFs as well, they play in like a loop, so it's got a nice flow to it. So even if it's a simple animation, it works as a flow, so you don't, you know, you can just see it at any point in the frame and it'll make sense to look at. And that's all there is for my personal project. So thanks for watching.